Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Kalaye Sundarakaram Sadaika Priyavarshanam, Kalaye Sundarakaram Sadaika Priyadarshanam, Ajnananu Nashakam Devam Satgurum Muralidharam, Murali Mandita Karakamalam Munijana Mohanam, Vyatyastapadam Vanamala Dharinam, Prema Bhakta Mandala Nitya Kirtitam, Shri Premika Varadam Ashayeham. Radhe Radhe everyone. Today I'll be sharing with you the life story of the great Mahatma Thyagaraja Swamigal. So Rama Brahmam was a very pious person and simple person with his wife was Sitamba. They had a very organized day, and he was a great Rama Bhakta. So, like in the morning, he would do Rama Archanam. In the afternoon, he would do Rama Puja, and he did Bhiksha, Unjavriti, to go door to door and ask for alms. So, with that, whatever food he got, he would use that and cook that, and that's what he would eat for the day. So that's how he lived. So he had 3 sons. The first son was named Japtisha. The second son was named Sundaresha, but there is not many details about him. And the third son was our Thyagaraja Swami. So as a child, Thyagaraja Swami, he was very fond of his father. And out of love, his father called him Tyagu. So Tyagu, he loved to be around his father when he was doing satsang, and he helped to do chores with help clean the Rama, help to dress up the Rama, and help to get flowers for the Archanam, and just things like that. So he was very fond of his father. So he always was joining his father when he was doing satsang and unjavriti. So one day, when his father Rama Brahmam was doing unjavriti after satsang, Tyagu said, Appa, can I please sing a bhajan for today for unjavriti? And then Rama Brahmam assumed that he was going to be singing a bhajan that Sitama had taught him. So he said, sure, Tyagu. And Tyagu sang the song. Shukha mukhat tina bandave namo namo. Shukha mukhat tina bandave namo namo. So he was Rama Brahmam. He was so astonished to hear this from Tyagu because nobody had taught him this, and it was so beautiful, the meaning and the bhava and the melody. So he said, Tyagu, where did you learn this? And Tyagu said to his Rama Brahmam, he said, Appa, I don't know where it came from. It just came from my bhava for Rama. And then Rama Brahmam was so happy to hear this. So to enhance his skill for music and bhavam for Rama, he sent him to a musical teacher called Sonti Venkat Ramaya. Sonti Venkat Ramaya taught him many bhajans and kirtans that are in this Bhuloka. And Thyagaraja Swami, all he did was learn the lyrics, and then Sonti Venkat Ramaya just listened to Tyagu sing the song because since it was so beautiful, he just liked to listen as a satsanga. So after 1 year of learning many bhajans and kirtans from Sonti Venkat Ramaya, Tyagu had learned all the bhajans in the world, all the bhajans in Bhuloka. So Sonti Venkat Ramaya told Thyagaraja Swami, Tyagu, I have no more bhajans on this Bhuloka to teach you. I've taught you everything that I can teach you. So Tyagu, he was really surprised to hear this because he thought, that's it? That's all I can learn? And he said, no, if you want to learn more, you have to go to the next celestial teacher. And that celestial teacher is Naradji. So he gave him a mantra that Tyagu was supposed to recite. And if he recited that, he would get a vision. He would get Naradji would give him the gift of um, music. So Tyagu, he recited the mantra that was given by Sonti Venkatramaya, and after a few days, he got a vision from Naradji. And in that vision, Naradji gave him the celestial book with called Svaranama. And that book gave him all the music, and it had a divine way of teaching melody, that because it was Naradji, and he's the celestial god of music. So after learning this, he was very enhanced in music, and he was such a beautiful singer. And in many of his kirtans, he sings in his later life. He mentions that Naradji is one of his guru. He mentions Naradji and refers to him as his guru in song music. So one day when Tyagu was home and Rama Brahmam had just come back from Unjavriti, he felt extra tired that day, and then he realized that was his time to leave Bhuloka. That was the day he was going to leave Bhuloka. So he told Tyagu, Tyagu, today is the day I leave this world. I'm going to go with Rama today. And then Tyagu, everyone was really sad to hear this, but Tyagu was the most inconsolable. He was so sad. And then Rama Brahmam, he knew Tyagu was so close to him. So he said, Tyagu, don't cry. I know you don't want me to leave. But Tyagaraj Swami said, no, Appa, this is not why I'm sad. You are the only one who could show me Rama. And if you are leaving this world, then how will I ever see Rama in my life? So the Rama Brahman was so happy to hear this because of Tyagaraja's bhakti to Rama. So he told him to chant Ramanama 100 crore times in his life, and then with bhakti, and then he would get a darshan of Lord Rama. And Tyagaraj Swami was so happy to hear this because even though it was such a big number, it was a finite number, which means it's possible. And a normal human being would say, that's so much, I don't know if I can achieve that. And even if I do achieve that, I don't even know, there's no way of saying if Rama will come and give me darshan. But Tyagaraj, he was so happy and he was so determined to see Rama. So for the rest of the day, each day, for the rest of his life, he was chanting Ramanama every single day. So as he grew up, the death ceremony for Rama Brahmam, on the 13th day of this death ceremony, Tyagaraj was especially excited on that one day because that was the day he could possibly maybe inherit the Rama idol and start taking care of it as a child and giving puja. And he asked his elder brother Japtisha for permission to do this. And Japtisha said it was fine, so he was especially excited for this. So he decided as soon as he heard this, he decided to run to the curtain, and he started singing a song. Meluko Vayamam, Meluko Vai Rama, Meluko Vayamam, Meluko Rama. He was saying, Rama, get up, wake up. You have to see me. Come see me and see me and wake up. So he opened the curtains of Rama, and he saw the Rama idol and was so happy. He gave the puja that Rama Brahmam used to do, and he did this daily. And with bhavam, and he did it with such happiness, and he was so happy to do this for the Rama, and he did it with such bhavam each time he did it. So, and every day he would talk to Rama like a friend. Like he would talk to Rama as if he were right there, and he would talk to Rama saying, "Oh Rama, why are you so sad today? You look so sad." And, "Oh Rama, those people are talking about me. I feel so sad." Or, "Oh Rama, I'm especially excited today because I can do satsanga with my friends." But so he talked to Rama just like a friend. And he did this all the time whenever he could talk. So as he went, while he, as he grew up to be an older adult, and Jagdisha, he started to get annoyed at his little brother because he had no responsibility. He would just do satsanga instead of actually doing getting a job and helping the family. He could at least teach the other children his music because of his musical talent. But no, he just chose to sing for Rama all the time. So Jagdisha, to get him responsible, he decided maybe the only way to do this is to get him a, a family. So he'd have to take care of the family and become responsible. So he married Thyagaraja Swami to a pious woman named Kamalamba. So Kamalamba turned out to be an even greater Rama Bhakta than Tyagaraj Swami, and she was even more devoted to Rama. So she always complimented his bhakti and was so happy to do satsang with him and so happy to be his wife because he was such a great bhakta. So this didn't help Tyagaraja get even any more responsible. So Jagdisha, he's like, there's no outcome out of this. He didn't get any more responsible. Now I have to one more mouth to feed, and that made him think, what is one more way I can get responsible? Tyagaraja Swami to get responsible. So he decided he would split the house for Tyagaraj, saying, Tyagaraj, you have to stay on this side, okay? You have to take care of your family by yourself. I'm not going to feed you. You have your own family now, okay? I'm not going to help you at all. You have to take care of it by yourself. But Tyagaraj wasn't worried because he had more responsibility. Tyagaraj Swami, he was more even happy because now he had no restrictions to how many people he could bring for satsang, when he could bring it. So now he could, and if he could feed his bhaktas or followers. So now he could feed his bhaktas, have satsang whenever he wanted and whenever he pleased, and talk to Rama. And now he could actually do satsang whenever he wanted. So but Tyagaraja's friend, whenever he fed his friends all the time because he always ended up getting just enough food that needed to feed all of his bhaktas, and just enough food to feed them, and enough food for them by using Undravriti. But one of his friends one day, they said, Tyagaraj Swami, I feel so bad for you. I take pity on you because your elder brother, he sent you away. He split the house and now you have to take care of a family yourself. You must be in such burden. But Tyagaraj Swami, he's like, no, I have so many people to take care of me. I'm so fortunate. I have my mother, Sita, and my father's Rama, and Bharata, my brother, and Lakshmana, my brother, and he listed all the Rama's families, saying they're there to take care of me. They can take care of me. I'm not alone at all. I'm so actually fortunate. And he sang a bhajan on that to show how many people were there to take care of him. So after a while, one day, a person was singing a bhajan for the king in the court. And it was such a beautiful bhajan with such great meaning. And the king was like, where did you get this bhajan? Where did you learn it? Where is it from? And the person said, one day I attended one of the satsangas of Tyagaraja Swami and he sang this bhajan. So the king he thought he had to see Tyagaraja Swami, and he was so determined to see him because he wanted to listen to more of his bhajans and see who this person was. So he invited Tyagaraja Swami to sing for him in the court. And Tyagaraja Swami was so naive, so he said, oh, someone wants me to sing for Rama. Of course I'll sing. And it wasn't because it was the king. He didn't do it because it was the king. He did it because someone wanted to sing for him to sing for Rama, and that's all he wanted to do. So he was fine with it. So the next day he went to the court and started singing this bhajan. Endero Mahanupavulu, Endero Mahanupavulu. And it was again such a beautiful song because Naradji had given him the divine musical touch. So the king again, he was astounded at how good, the beautiful the song was, and the bhakti of Tyagaraja Swami. So the next day, he decided he wanted Tyagaraja Swami to be his royal singer, and to sing his kirtans in the court. So he sent soldiers with many gifts and jewelry and gold to Tyagaraja Swami's house, and to ask him to be the royal singer for the kingdom. So when Tyagaraja Swami saw this, he was like, he talked to Rama. So he said, Rama, what do you think I would sing for someone that's not you? I wouldn't ever sing for someone that's not you. I only sing for you. That's my only life purpose. How could I sing for someone else? I only sing for you. And he sang this in the form of a bhajan, a kirtan that he wrote. And all the soldiers, when they heard this, even though it wasn't directed to them, they got the message saying, oh, they understood what he meant, and they took away the gifts and went away to the king. So Jagdisha, after hearing about this incident, was enraged at Tyagaraja Swami. He was enraged at how he rejected all those gifts and a job in the royal kingdom. So he was like, at least you could recommended me, or said, or taken the gifts and shared it with me. You could have done so much. You are such a fool. Rama, your bhakti for Rama is making you such a blind fool. So he got so fed up with his little brother. So when Tyagaraja Swami was sleeping, he took the Rama idol that Tyagaraja Swami loved, and he threw it in the Kaveri river. So the next morning when Tyagaraja Swami woke up, he got ready and he got ready to see his Rama and do the puja for the early morning. And as soon as he opened the curtains, he was devastated to see that his Rama was not there, and he was inconsolable. He couldn't stop from crying, and nobody could console him, saying, they said things like, maybe, hey, Tyagaraj Swami, maybe you can get a new idol that it's still Rama, right? And then he said, no, that is my Rama. It's like my child. If you get a new child, if you lose your child and then you get a new child, it won't make up for your old child. It will not be the same. You can't do that. So he was saying this to the people, and he was inconsolable. He couldn't stop crying for his Rama, and he didn't even eat or drink a single drop of water for 3 whole days. And on the end of the third day, finally he got a vision of Rama. And in that vision, Rama showed him where the idol was. So Tyagaraja Swami, he went to that place in Kaveri River, bringing along few of his bhaktas. And finally he found it, and he was so happy, overjoyed to see his Rama idol. So he was hugging it and kissing it and doing satsangas so much. And usually when people offered him gifts because of his great bhakti and bhajans, he rejected them, saying, I only need my Rama, not all this Maya. So, but since he was overjoyed, he would accept anything, all the gifts, and he did count like so much satsang for Rama. And he accepted it for his joy of finding the Rama. But after this, he was still had the question in mind, Rama, why did you give me the vision only after 3 days? Why did you wait for 3 days to tell me? Those 3 days were the most miserable days of my life. Why did you wait so long to tell me? And Rama told him, Tyagaraj Swami, I told you this because when I was first in Kaveri River, there was a huge flood in the river, and I know you were in such a bad state, and you weren't in your right state of mind. So even if you knew you would lose your life, you would just jump in the river, not thinking clearly, and then you would lose your life in the dangerous flood. So that's the reason why I didn't I didn't tell you where I was, so even after 3 days. So then Tyagaraja Swami understood. So then one day Tyagaraja Swami, while he was doing satsanga, he was reading a katha about Shabari, and he was reciting it, and how Shabari met Rama, and how Rama came in a physical form with Lakshmana to Shabari's hut, and how she gave a physical darshan and actually was there, and the presence was there. So Tyagaraja Swami got kind of jealous because he knew Shabari, she had a physical darshan, and he only got a visions of Rama, not a physical presence, and he wanted to hug and touch his Rama, and he was I'm not understanding why Rama only gave him visions and not actually there with his presence there. So that midnight when Tyagaraja Swami was getting ready to go to bed, he heard a knock on the door, and he was wondering who would come that late, because it was so late at night, and there must have not been a good reason. And there must have been a really good reason to come at that time of the night. So he went down to the door, and he saw Rama when he was around 14 and with Lakshmana, and it was the same age that Rama was when he was with protecting the yajna, with protecting Vishwamitra's yajna from the demons. And Tyagaraja Swami was overjoyed to see them. He was so happy to see him, and he hugged them both Lakshmana and Rama. He hugged them so much, and he was so happy. He sang a kirtan at that moment about them. It was called Bala Kanakamaya, and it was saying, Rama, come into my house, come, I want to serve you. Young Rama, come, I want to host you and serve you. Please come into my house. And he was so happy to see Lakshmana and Rama in their young form in a physical state. So after a while, finally, Kamalamba had passed away from the earth, and she had gone to Rama. So Tyagaraja Swami, he thought, oh, my wife was such a great Rama Bhakta, even better than me, that Rama took her even before than me. So he was saying she was such a great Bhakta. And because she had died and he had no more family responsibilities to take, he decided to take sannyas and go into the forest and read Bhagavatam. He decided to take sannyas and read Bhagavatam for the rest of his days. So on the last day, he realized it was his last day on earth. So he called all of his bhaktas and called them to the temple. And at that temple on that day, he sang his last kirtan in his life, and then he attained Rama. Radhe Radhe, thank you for giving me this opportunity to tell the life story of this great Mahatma Tyagaraja Swami. I really enjoyed sharing it with you. Radhe Radhe.